Right friends, welcome back to Learning Space. You are watching live session through Learning Space, and the important change which we have already announced is from today onwards on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, these revision modules will be live streamed, right? Please don't forget, from today onwards on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, these live sessions will be of revision modules. That means revision modules for UPSC Civil Services Preliminary 2019, and as usual the editorial discussions on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, they will be uploaded with Learning Space Digital. So please watch editorial discussions through Learning Space Digital. Let me remind you once again, from today, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, the live sessions will be of revision modules for preliminary examination, and as usual the editorial discussions will continue Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. They will be uploaded in Learning Space Digital directly. And when you look at the revision modules, we promised 80 modules for revision pertaining to current affairs. We bifurcated them into number of domains like national issues, international issues, science and technology, economy, art and culture, like that. And when you look at the national issues, this is the second module of national issues, and this is the total 13th module. So friends, out of total minimum 80 modules, some of the modules will be available in YouTube, and for all the modules please subscribe to Learning Space Digital, right? So all the modules will be available in Learning Space Digital, and only around 25% of the modules will be available through this live sessions of YouTube, or you can say through the live sessions. Only few modules of revision will be available, but all the modules will be available with Learning Space Digital, and editorial discussions will be available only with Learning Space Digital from today, right? So please do join for live sessions on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday pertaining to these revision modules. Look at the first one. This is the most important one. Union Cabinet gave approval with regard to International Solar Alliance. Now International Solar Alliance membership is open to all the United Nations countries. Please don't forget. As per the change which was approved by Union Cabinet recently, the membership of the International Solar Alliance is extended to all the United Nations members. Previously there was restriction. The countries should be fully or partially between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, and now a decision is taken that it is extended to all the members of UN, right? Then second important aspect is, it is the first treaty based international intergovernmental organization to be based in India, right? This happened after the ratification of 15th country, right? And one important aspect is interim secretariat is based in Gurugram. Please don't forget. And let us look at, what do you understand by treaty based intergovernmental organization? That means there will be charter. So when you look at the international organizations, quite often you come across this is signed by these many countries, ratified by these many countries, like that. And here this treaty based organization, intergovernmental organization, I need not explain. Intergovernmental organization is the organization composed of sovereign states, right, at the same time, or other intergovernmental organizations. So therefore this is intergovernmental organization definition, and in a nutshell, please don't forget, here it composes of sovereign countries, right? Please understand that is intergovernmental organization. And what is this treaty based? That means there will be a charter, right? So there will be charter, and once the required number of countries ratify it, very important. So here ratification is the word, is important. Once the required number of countries ratify it, this charter, or you can say this treaty, comes into force, and for the countries to accede to this treaty, they have to ratify, or you can say depending on the country's powers, they have to ratify it. That means in some countries president can ratify, In some countries, Prime Minister can ratify. In some countries, Parliament can ratify. So therefore, please don't forget, this treaty-based organization is having one charter, very, very important. That charter is to be ratified by the sovereign countries. So in this case, this is having charter. That's why it is called treaty-based organization, and the countries have to accede to it by ratifying the charter in their respective jurisdictions, right? So this is all about this charter-based, or you can say treaty-based international organizations. And here ratification is the important word. And another important aspect is it gets the status of international juridical personality. That means here once the treaty-based organization is there, this charter or treaty that will get the international legal personality status, or you can say juridical personality. So to give juridical personality or legal rights to the treaty, please don't forget, as human beings, we all have legal rights, and therefore for the treaty also, for the charter also, it should have legal rights. To get the legal rights, here please don't forget this news item. ISA and Ministry of External Affairs signed the host country agreement. Host country agreement gives legal status or this juridical personality status to this International Solar Alliance. Right friends, we discussed about treaty-based organization. And what are other treaty-based organizations? World Bank, that is one example. And NATO, this is another example. So these are examples of treaty-based organizations. United Nations is another example. And you may have a doubt, what are the organizations which are not based on treaty? There are organizations like G20, G7, Financial Action Task Force. These are not treaty-based organizations. So friends, please don't forget, this is a treaty-based organization, and here it gets the juridical personality status. And to get juridical personality status, host country agreement was signed recently. So this is all about this. And most important, have some news about this International Solar Alliance, or you can say some stipulations. One important aspect is there are no targets, no legal obligations on member countries. Very, very important. No targets, no legal obligations. Members take coordinated actions on voluntary basis. Next important aspect is as per the previous guidelines. Very, very important. As per the previous guidelines, the countries which are beyond these tropics, that means countries beyond Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, they can only become partner countries. But now Union Cabinet decided to extend membership to all the UN countries. So therefore, previous legislation, or you can say previous guidelines are beyond Tropic of Cancer, beyond Tropic of Capricorn, they are eligible for partner countries. But now all the UN members can become the members in International Solar Alliance. Another important aspect, please have a glance at it. Here there can be some partner organizations. And at the same time, don't forget, United Nations, including its organs, are strategic partners, or you can say United Nations including organs can join ISA as strategic partners. Right friends, if you look at International Solar Alliance, let us summarize this. One is no targets, no legal binding obligations, voluntary basis countries join. Now it is extended to all the United Nations members. There can be partner organizations. United Nations has got special significance. United Nations, including its organs, can become strategic partners. And some of the aspects it already started. One is with regard to scaling solar applications for agricultural use. Then 2 points I would like to tell you. One is it aims to mobilize more than $1 trillion of investments by 2030. And 2 points, please don't forget. One is the alliance introduced this common risk mitigation mechanism, or you can say CRRM. So friends, 2 points, please don't forget. When somebody is talking about this International Solar Alliance, one is a common risk mitigation mechanism. and second one is solar mini grids. And here what is a common risk mitigation mechanism? If you look at it, basically it will act as pooled insurance with limited liability. Please don't forget, World Bank is associated with developing common risk mitigation mechanism. That means here it is to reduce the risk associated with investments in the solar sector. For that purpose, it is proposing pooled insurance so as to reduce the risk for the investments in solar sector. So friends, World Bank is associated with common risk mitigation mechanism. Just have a glance at it, and it has already mobilized $1 million for the preparatory work, right? This is about CRRM. And the next word, don't forget, what is mini grid, because here the ISA is promoting mini grids. Mini grids means here they work in isolation and sometimes they can be connected to DISCOM grid also. Just have a glance at it, right? So this is all about International Solar Alliance. It is very important. That's why I thought it necessary to discuss for around 5-6 minutes. And ISA Secretariat is in India, Gurugram, and India offered to meet the ISA Secretariat expenses for initial 5 years. This is the important point. Right friends, we had sufficient discussion on International Solar Alliance. Let us look at interesting news now. First one is Uttar Pradesh government changed the name of Allahabad as Prayagraj. Please don't forget, Allahabad is having the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and mythical Saraswati. All of you are well aware. Allahabad High Court is the country's largest high court with 160 judges. And it is the fourth one to be established. Initially, it was established at Agra and shifted to Allahabad. One more important aspect about Allahabad is Ashoka established the pillar in 3rd century BC and Emperor Akbar built the fort in 1583. These may not be that important. And one important aspect is under the British, Allahabad was the capital of the United Provinces during the first half of the 20th century. Don't forget. Look at the next one. Barefoot College. This is quite often in the news. Why this is in the news? This is in the news because of the reason it is in fact having a good name with regard to solar mamas. Solar mamas are nothing but solar engineers, and they are experts in solar home lighting system fabrication, assembly of solar panels and troubleshooting. That means whenever some problems are there, they will go and solve the problems. So Barefoot College, don't forget Rajasthan. Then most important development, these two are merged to become National Council for Vocational Education and Training. Right friends, National Council for Vocational Training. It is looking at ITIs. So have clarity, this looks at ITIs. So please don't forget, when people are talking about ITIs, ITIs are nothing but long-term skill development courses. These are ITIs, this National Council for Vocational Training or NCVT that regulates ITIs. Then if you look at National Skill Development Agency, this is basically the brain behind National Skills Qualification Framework. Very, very important. So NSQF is looked after by National Skill Development Agency. National Skills Qualification Framework, that is basically to have the quality orientation, to set the quality benchmarks for various skill programs. So this NSQF is under National Skill Development Agency, or you can say it is formulated by National Skill Development Agency. ITIs are regulated by National Council for Vocational Training. So these two are merged now. Very important development. National Council for Vocational Education and Training. That means it will now look at ITIs. We are talking about the new organization. It will look at ITIs, regulation of ITIs. Second, it will look at National Skills Qualification Framework. Third important aspect is, at present, National Skill Development Corporation is looking at various courses conducted by sector skill councils. and that will also come into the domain of National Council for Vocational Education and Training. That means ITI's regulation, the rules and regulations pertaining to National Skills Qualification Framework, then the functioning of sector skill councils, all these will be vested with National Council for Vocational Education and Training, which is newly constituted. Right friends, I mentioned here this ITIs are under the NCVT, and this National Skill Development Agency has been to anchor and operationalize NSQF, and these functions will go to the newly constituted National Council for Vocational Education and Training, and it will also look at the NSDC's function of this sector skill councils. So these three are vested with the new agency. You can say the new agency is single regulatory authority. Please do not forget. Look into the next one. This appointment is not that important, but what is important is National Skill Development Corporation. National Skill Development Corporation, don't forget, it is not for profit public limited company. You can call it Section 8 company under the Companies Act 2013. Second one is government shareholding is 49%, and the other important aspect is it was set up by the Ministry of Finance as public-private partnership model, or you can say it is established to work in PPP model. And please don't forget, 49% of the ownership is with the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and 51% is with private sector, and it aims to promote skill development by catalyzing, very very important, it is a not for profit company, not for profit public limited company, but its aim is to promote skill development by creating for profit vocational institutions. And basically it supports short term skill training, and at the same time in the establishment of district nodal skill centers. Please don't forget Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendras or district nodal centers. Right friends, this is about National Skill Development Corporation. Then this strategic petroleum reserves, very important. Government launched a roadshow for phase 2 of Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves opportunity here in public-private partnership. That means here for storing in Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves program. And please don't forget Abu Dhabi National Oil Company that is involved with the storage of this crude petroleum in the reserves, right? And what is this organization? This Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves Organization, or you can say Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves Limited. This is special purpose vehicle under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. What is the meaning of special purpose vehicle? Special purpose vehicle is created for some particular purpose. Once the purpose is fulfilled, then what happens? It will be shelved. Right friends, this is basically to create emergency reserves, or you can say strategic reserves, right? And for ensuring strategic reserves, this special purpose vehicle is created under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. We are talking about Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves Limited, which is the special purpose vehicle. Please don't forget, already at 3 places, Visakhapatnam, Padur and Mangaluru in Karnataka. Padur and Mangaluru in Karnataka, and at Visakhapatnam already 10 days storage is created. That means in case of some disruptions, 10 days of reserves are available which are stored in the underground caverns at Visakhapatnam, Padur and Mangaluru. And recently Cabinet took a decision to store another 12 days of reserves at Padur and Chandikol in Odisha. Right? Please don't forget, 10 days already created at Visakhapatnam, Padur and Mangaluru, and for 12 days of reserves already decision was taken to store at Padur and Chandikol in Odisha. Right friends, please don't forget, this is very important. And if you look at this, already India maintains 65 days of crude storage, but as per International Energy Agency, which is headquartered in Paris, 90 days of reserves are required. That means IEA guidelines says 90 days of storage is mandated for the member countries, and here 65 days India already maintains, and 10 days are being created at 3 places as I have already told you, and with this 12 days it goes up to total 87 days, right. So these are underground storage caverns through public-private partnership mode. And please don't forget, Abu Dhabi National Oil Company is associated with this underground storage, right friends. The organization is a special purpose vehicle set up by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, and the storage is being undertaken in the public-private partnership mode. Very important. Then look at the next one. Shahi Lychee from Bihar received the GI tag from GI Registry and Intellectual Property India. Please do not forget, this GI Registry and Intellectual Property India is based in Chennai. Please do not forget. So when you look at this geographical indication tag, the registry is situated in Chennai and it is under the Office of the Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks, which in turn is under the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Please don't forget, DIPP name is changed to Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. And another important aspect, please don't forget, Bihar produces 40% of the lychees grown in India. Please have a look at it. Shahi Lychee, and these are all from Bihar. Katarni rice, Jardalu mango, Magahi pan, please don't forget. And recently, around 2-3 days ago, for the first time in the areca nut sector, Sirsi Supari, grown in Uttar Kannada area, received the geographical indication tag. This we are talking about Karnataka, don't forget. And the persons dealing with 3 categories of goods are covered under the term producer. One is agricultural goods, second one is natural goods, then handicrafts or industrial goods. So these 3 categories, don't forget, and the GI tag is applicable for 10 years, don't forget. These are all from Bihar. Madhubani paintings, Sikki grasswork, Sujini embroidery, Bhagalpuri silk, and these may not be that important, but what is important is geographical indication tag. Please do not forget agricultural goods, natural goods, handicrafts or industrial goods. And one more important aspect is it is collective right. It does not give individual right or individual rights just like patents. That means this is a collective right, collectively. So if something is conferred under geographical indication, that is the collective right, right? It is not individual right. At the same time, the persons from other regions, they cannot sell the product with the name of these. That means Madhubani paintings. Only the paintings which are authorized with this tag will be made in one particular geographical region. Other geographical region people, they cannot sell with the name. That is the beauty. And the registration of geographical indication is valid for period of 10 years, and any association of persons, producers, organization can be registered proprietor. Please don't forget, this is collective right, and it enables those who have the right to use the indication to prevent by third party. That means if some Madhubani paintings is granted GI, then a painting made in Chennai that cannot be claimed as Madhubani painting. So it has to in fact conform to the conditions stipulated in the geographical indication tag, right? And Paris Convention covers GI as element of IPRs. Similarly, it is there in the TRIPS also, right friends? India's longest river bridge with a total length of 19.3 kilometers will be built on Brahmaputra river in Assam. Right friends, please don't forget, at present, India's longest river bridge is Bhupen Hazarika Bridge. That is Dhola Sadia Bridge, right? That is also in Assam, and in future this is going to be built with Japanese assistance, and it is around 19 kilometers long. Please have a glance at it. On one side Dhubri, other side Fulbari. Fulbari is in Meghalaya, Dhubri is in Assam, and this is around 19 kilometers. It is going to become India's longest river bridge in future. And certain things I would like to tell you. In recent times, in India, these are into the news. The longest river bridge, Bhupen Hazarika Bridge, that is in Dhola Sadia Bridge, or you can call, this is in Assam. It is on river Lohit. Lohit is the tributary of Brahmaputra. Second important aspect is the longest road cum rail bridge, that is Bogibeel Bridge, that is inaugurated in Assam. Third important aspect is the Hyperloop project that is coming up between Mumbai and Pune. Hyperloop technology part we will deliberate in the S&T lecture. Next important aspect, all of you are familiar, the bullet train project between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. The technology is a Shinkansen, and Japan is giving soft loan to the extent of around 80%. Next one is coastal economic zone. Under Sagarmala program, 14 coastal economic zones are planned, and these are in fact examples of spatial development. And here please don't forget, this Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust will act as the nodal authority for this coastal economic zone which is coming up in Mumbai. So Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust will act as the nodal authority for the first coastal economic zone which is coming up in Maharashtra. Then the dedicated freight corridors, please don't forget, Western dedicated freight corridor starting from Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust going up to Dadri near Delhi. Eastern dedicated freight corridor, that is starting from Ludhiana in Punjab going up to Dankuni in West Bengal. So these are very, very important. And one more important aspect is two defense corridors are coming up, one in Uttar Pradesh, second one is in Tamil Nadu. Right? So these are very important when one looks at your examination perspective. Then Eastern Peripheral Expressway, Western Peripheral Expressway, these two are to in fact decongest Delhi. Right? They are around Delhi, basically to decongest Delhi and also to reduce pollution in Delhi. Right? So these are some of the important aspects. As the things progresses, we will discuss some more things. So please don't forget about Dhubri Fulbari. This is going to become the longest river bridge. Then the next one is Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission, Ministry of Rural Development. They signed some MOU for establishing Roshni, and Roshni program, this is supported by this UNICEF India. And what is the purpose of Roshni? The purpose is it is to spread awareness among women, especially on aspects of health and nutrition. And if you go into the basics, have a glance at the main goal of DAY NRLM, that is the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission. The main purpose is to reach around 8 to 10 crore rural poor households, and these are based on SECC 2011 census, and basically to break this malnutrition, illness, out of pocket expenditure and poverty. This cycle is to be broken. Right friends, there are several subcomponents of this NRLM and we are going to discuss them in the separate lecture, don't forget. And Indian Institute of Skills, and please don't forget, the first Indian Institute of Skills is coming up in Kanpur. And the second important aspect is they will be established in public-private partnership mode. This is the important point. So the country will have this Institute of Skills, or you can say Indian Institute of Skills. Prestigious institutions will come up. The first one is coming up in Kanpur and they will be set up in public-private partnership mode. Don't forget. Then this Gokha Dahej, and don't forget this Gokha Dahej. Here through this Gulf of Cambay, that means goods will be transported across this Gulf of Cambay. They will be loaded, subsequently they will be unloaded on the other side, and this is the project in Gujarat, don't forget. And on one side Dahej and on the other side Gokha, and this cuts across Gulf of Cambay, and this is part of Sagarmala, don't forget, and it connects Saurashtra and South Gujarat, and it was inaugurated recently. It is the Prime Minister's dream project, and don't forget it is part of Sagarmala, right friends. If you look at Sagarmala, what are the components? 5-6 important points I would like to tell you. First and the foremost is Sagarmala is to facilitate port-led industrial development. Very, very important. Port-led industrial development. Develop world-class port infrastructure. Develop connectivity so that the industrialization may take place around the ports. And port-led industrial development, if it takes place, what are the advantages? The advantages are logistics costs will be reduced, and the next component of this Sagarmala is very, very important. Here it looks at increasing the water transport, or you can say through the inland waterways. Please don't forget, inland waterways, India has got 111 national waterways. So promoting inland waterways and coastal shipping. Coastal shipping means the transportation of goods close to the coast. That means within 20 nautical miles. So within 20 nautical miles, when you are transporting the goods, what happens? The costs will reduce because the requirement of various conditions for ships, they will be less in the coastal shipping, or you can say if they are running close to the sea coast, then the cost will come down. So coastal shipping, inland waterways promotion. So all these are part of Sagarmala. That means Sagarmala facilitates this more and more water transport, either through inland waterways or through coastal shipping. Basically, it reduces the logistics costs, and also it will have reduction in the fossil fuel emissions, pollutions will be reduced. And one more important aspect is the projects approved, they will be taken up by respective ports, state governments or maritime boards in the public-private partnership mode. Very, very important. So friends, Sagarmala, most of the projects are intended to be taken up in the public-private partnership model, don't forget. And Sagarmala Development Company Limited, this was set up by the Ministry of Shipping to provide equity support to the projects. Right friends, so please don't forget, most of the projects are expected to be undertaken through the public-private partnership mode. This is one important point, don't forget. And if you look at Sagarmala program, I already told you coastal economic zones. 14 coastal economic zones are proposed. The first one is coming up in Maharashtra, and it also focuses on development of coastal communities is one element, and modern fishing techniques and coastal tourism. These are also components of Sagarmala. Right friends, Sagarmala has got several components, don't forget. Coastal economic zones is one important aspect. Port-led industrial development is the goal, promoting the water transport and including modern fishing techniques so as to look at livelihoods of the fishermen, and at the same time skill development also by looking at skill gaps, right? And here you see India's first mega coastal economic zone at Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust. That means this is a spatial economic region. It spreads across number of locations. That's why it is called spatial economic region. Please don't forget, Union Cabinet in 2016 itself decided to set up 14 mega CEZs, coastal economic zones, and the first one is coming up in Maharashtra, and it spreads across several places like Mumbai, Pune, Raigad, then Nashik and others. Right, the fulcrum will be Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust, don't forget. And coastal shipping and inland water navigation, these two are the important aspects. So increasing the share of coastal shipping and inland navigation, That is the key objective of Sagarmala project. Why I have taken all these things is Sagarmala has got number of facets. So one should have clarity about what is a Sagarmala and what is coastal shipping, that is within 20 nautical miles from the coastline. Let us leave this discussion here. Let us look at one important aspect. Indian Railways has named indigenously manufactured semi-high-speed train, that is train 18, as Vande Bharat Express. Please don't forget, this is the prestigious train Vande Bharat Express. This is running between Delhi and Varanasi, and other important aspect is built by Chennai's Integral Coach Factory, and this is first locomotive-less long distance train. It is self-propellant train set, just like your electric multiple units or diesel multiple units. Here it is self-propelled, that means it takes power at a number of locations, just like electric multiple units. So it is the first locomotive-less long distance train in the country, and it is built under Make in India program. Very, very important. Make in India program, and in future train 20 will come. So train 18 is the advanced features train, and this is the first locomotive-less long distance train, and it is running between Delhi and Varanasi, built by Integral Coach Factory Chennai under Make in India program. Please don't forget, right? So please don't forget the details with regard to Vande Bharat Express. Have a glance at the features. These may not be that important, and here possible peak speed is 200 kilometers per hour. This is one important aspect. So the possible peak speed of this train 18 is 200 kilometers per hour, and it is tested up to 180 kilometers per hour, and maximum speed potential in running the regular trains is assessed at 160 kilometers per hour, and at present it is running at 130 kilometers per hour between Delhi and Varanasi. These are the important aspects. The Statue of Unity, the world's tallest statue at 182 meters, that was inaugurated at Sadhu Bait Island in Narmada River, right? And this is a Statue of Unity, and the state government chose Ramvi Sutar, and these many details may not be important to you, but please have a glance at this. This is Statue of Unity, and Spring Temple Buddha, this is Statue of Liberty. Sometimes from your examination perspective, 1 or 2 points please remember. And let us have a glance at Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. He is associated with some of the movements. Just have a glance at it, because sometimes in the examination perspective they may be important. And he served the Ahmedabad municipality in 1920s, and he successfully organized a peasants movement against the imposition of taxes by British at Kheda and Bardoli in Gujarat. And of course, post-independence, most of you are familiar with the unification of around 550 princely states, and out of them, one important aspect is Operation Polo to liberate and integrate Hyderabad. He also solved the complex issue of Junagadh, and he is considered as architect of India's steel frame, that is the civil services, right? This much is more than enough. And here this is ship carrying snacks and other food items manufactured by Pepsi, travelled through water transport, and the Prime Minister received the vessel. Please don't forget, India has got 111 national waterways. NW1 is from Allahabad to Haldia, basically Ganges River, and the name of the vessel is not that important. What is important is this is the country's first container cargo transported by inland waterways, right? And for this multimodal freight terminal in Varanasi was dedicated to the nation. Multimodal freight terminal, right? That means part of the distance by water, part of the distance maybe by train, part of the distance by road. That is known as multimodal, and the country's first multi multi-modal freight terminal came up in Varanasi. This is also important, don't forget. And if you look at the National Waterway 1, and this Varanasi terminal is the first country's multi-modal terminal for freight transport, and it is on National Waterway 1, and this is part of the Jalmarg Vikas project. And please do not forget, Jalmarg Vikas project is monitored by Inland Waterways Authority of India, and it is World Bank assisted project, please don't forget. And friends, let us conclude today's discussion on the national events, and we will discuss some more national events in the coming lectures. So this is the 13th lecture, and tomorrow 14th lecture will be live. And let me remind you, out of 80 lectures, only few of them will be live casted, and all other lectures will be available with Learning Space Digital. And let me remind you once again, the editorial discussion that will be available on all these 4 days with Learning Space Digital. Right friends, please stay with Learning Space to reach greater heights. Thank you.